Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Cardboard Coach Neil, and I want to wish a happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there if they are a subscriber. And if they're not, make sure you call your mom or tell your significant other. If they are a mom, happy Mother's Day from the Cardboard Coach. So, moms, if you're like me, moms have been a big part of our collecting when we were at an early age. For me, my early age was well before the internet, well before eBay and comps and whatnot and everything else that has to do with the hobby as we know it today. If I wanted to buy new baseball cards, I had to ask her if she was at the grocery store or if she was going to the drugstore or things that sold baseball cards, or I'd have to ride my bike up to 7-Eleven, which I often did. But if I wanted to see old baseball cards, I didn't know where to look. I knew about flea markets and I would go to them on occasion, but it dawned on me that there may be a baseball card store. So I asked my mom if she could find out. She did. There was one about a half hour away, and it was called Joe's Dugout. Now, Joe's Dugout was a fantastic card shop. I still remember where it was located. It's now a dentist office or part of one. But I also remember the first time I ever stepped foot inside Joe's Dugout, and I was blown away. I was a kid. This was the late 70s, maybe 1980. Actually, I think it was, I think it was 1980. And just blown away. Here are vintage baseball cards that I've never ever seen before, and I just couldn't believe it. Here was Hank Aaron and Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle, guys I read about, never thought I'd own, because for me, at the time, an old baseball card was from 1976. And you had to rely on people in your neighborhood. You had to rely on seeing something at a flea market. And that's where you got your old vintage cards. Now, that one particular time at Joe's Dugout, I did save up some money from my budget. Bought a couple cards, but there was one card that really stood out to me. And I didn't have enough money. I did not have enough money for it. I asked Joe's wife to hold the card to see if she could hold it for another couple weeks and I could afford it. I want to say it was about $10 at the time. Not expensive at all, but to a 12-year-old kid, it was a lot of money back in the day. So went back a few weeks later, maybe a month. I know it was sometime in the fall, it was getting close to Christmas. It was sold. It was gone. I, moved on from it. I was kind of a little disappointed because it was the oldest Hank Aaron I had ever seen. And I thought I was going to be able to get one and talk about it at grade school with the other kids who collected baseball cards. So Christmas morning, I woke up and, we're unwrapping gifts, and my mom presented me with a small box, and inside that box was a 1956 Hank Aaron, the very same one that I wanted to buy. And this is my favorite Christmas gift I've ever received. It's my first really old Hank Aaron. This is the original card. I had it graded back in the day, 20 some years ago, as you can tell by the zero cert. And it graded a 4. It's centered. It's great. I mean, there's a tiny, unobtrusive wrinkle right up in his forehead. It's very small. It's like a paper wrinkle, but it's centered really nice for the issue, as I found out later on when I learned about centering issues. It's a white back, and it's one of my favorite cards of all time. If I see a 56 Hank Aaron, I automatically think of this one. I've owned about 3 or 4 at one point in varying grades and varying grading companies, but this is one that will never, ever be sold. It's my first Hank Aaron, and happy Mother's Day in heaven to my mom for buying this for me. The following Christmas, this was something I did not even care to even think about owning, but same Joe's Dugout, and this was 1981, the Christmas of 1981. By this point, I was a big Pete Rose fan. The Phillies had won the World Series. Rose was chasing Musial's record, which he broke or tied. Then there was the baseball strike. Then he later broke it. So I became infatuated with Stan Musial cards as well. Didn't have any until my mom gave me this one for Christmas in 1981. A 52 Bowman Stan Musial. This was one of the original 4 cards that I submitted to PSA back in the day. When you joined, you got the 4 cards for free. I was really nervous about sending these things out. It's got great color. One thing I knew about the issue later on, sometimes the sleeve, the blue isn't as rich, or it might have some white fuzzies in there. This one is really, really deep color. Centering isn't, it probably would not grade a 5 today. The Hank Aaron would. The Hank Aaron would grade a 4 still. And I'll talk about that in a later episode, about the myth of some of these 9-digit certs and other stuff like that. But this is the 52 Bowman Stan Musial, pretty clean back. Again, a card that I will never part with. Again, my mom, she did a lot for myself and my sister, my 2 brothers. And I think she liked shopping. So I think she liked the fact that I was looking to buy stuff and go buy something, because she taught me a lot about negotiation and this and that, and how to look on, for sale items. So again, happy Mother's Day, Mom. So flash forward from 1980-81 to about 30 years later, maybe not that much, about 20 some years later, and I used to go to a show. Well, I still go to the show. It's called the Philly Show. For those of you who haven't been, if you're in the area, try to make it. It's a great show. I've heard Strongsville is fantastic. I plan on going out there next year. But the Philly Show is fantastic. I'd recommend going. Back in the day, before it moved to its current location of the Oaks, it was at King of Prussia. Before that, it was in Fort Washington. We used to call it the Fort. The Fort Show, Fort Washington Show. And I would go there. The schedule was about the same. It was a couple times a year. And I remember going in December, the December show, and this was probably 2001. And, I was going up. I told my then girlfriend at the time that I'm going to a baseball card show. And she actually asked if she could come. And I, being the romantic guy that I am, I took my girlfriend at the time to a baseball card show. And, we're looking around. I had a few $100s to spend. And she's asking questions about this, about that. And I'm trying to, give her a quick education on what I'm looking for. And there were 2 cards at a dealer's table that I bought a lot of cards from. And I think his name was Dave Kajier, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. He had a couple raw cards, and they were 1933 Goudeys. Didn't have any at the time, but I remember seeing and seeing the first one, and this was a red roughing, and the second one I liked was a Mickey Cochran. Mickey Cochran, of course, of Philadelphia Athletics fame, probably one of the top 5 catchers, I would say. Definitely top 10 of all time. And Ruffing was just an underrated workhorse type of pitcher. He, played for the Yankees. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's on a number of world championship teams. Blessed to be on the Yankees, but he was a really, really good pitcher. And when you put him with the likes of Lefty Gomez and Wade Hoyt, along with the formidable lineup that they had with Ruth Gehrig, Lazzeri, all the others, they're going to win some championships. But, again, the A's went toe-to-toe with them during that time. But in any event, the 233 Goudeys, I liked them. I said I would think about them. And, again, a few weeks later at Christmas, I, opened a gift from my girlfriend. And I had these 2 cards, which I had since gotten graded just recently with SGC reholdered. Here's the red roughing, beautiful blue, very uniform. You know, I never understood why. I think the artist rendition of certain players like Babe Ruth and Ruffing, they got these brown hats, and I can only imagine the green Gowdy Babe Ruth, if his hat was blue, I mean, it's a great card as it is, but if it was a blue hat, it would even be more popular, maybe the most popular Ruth card of all time. It's a fantastic card, one that I will add to my Ruth collection one day. And here's the Mickey Cochrane. This one, same thing, you know, just great, deep, rich red color, very uniform background, not a lot of spotting or anything like that. And, you know, real clean back. And that's an SGC4. I submitted those to SGC, you know, many, many years ago. And I was happy when SGC got rid of the old green label that would fade and this and that, and went to this tux. Hopefully that brand remains to be in existence with all the speculation that we discussed and people still are discussing. But yeah, so those two cards, you know, my girlfriend bought from right under my nose, much like my mom did with the 56 and Hank Aaron. And I got them for the Christmas gift a few weeks later after that show. And in my best John Mangini, you know what I like to do when I'm feeling romantic and take my girlfriend to a card show, and then she buys me a couple of great Gowdy cards? I like to marry her. And that's exactly what I did. So those are two good reasons right there. And she's been very, very helpful, very patient with me. She'll look at some cards, see what I'm thinking. She's watching her show, and I'll be looking on my phone, and I'll say, what do you think of this card? And she'll give me thumbs up or thumbs down. And sometimes that plays a part in what I buy. But in any event, I want to wish a happy Mother's Day to my lovely wife and thank her for being such a great, fantastic mom for our two boys. And for all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Make sure if your mom is still around to give her a phone call. And if you're married and if you have children, make sure you thank her for being a great mom as well. I will see you next time, YouTube. And once again, thank you for all the comments on my first 3 videos. Thank you for the encouragement, and for anyone who's subscribing out there, thank you. I really appreciate it. Glad that actually someone is actually listening, and hopefully you're picking up a few things from the coach. And we will talk very, very soon. Take care.